It's in order. I built this earlier. I'm very proud of this.
Okay, so talk about Titan first?
Let's talk about Titan.
Right. We love the guys in
Titan. As part of the Advent calendar promotion thing this year, we want to try to tie in all the crazy people in the extended Doctor Who universe who we're working with, the weird and wonderful people who sort of do what we do in different mediums. And the Titan guys are awesome, and they've been giving us some new fun things that we can put in at Christmas. So we'll have the first levels coming out through the Advent at some point during that month, based on their comic books, and we'll have new characters, new allies coming from, which is this first arc? Is that from 12th?
12th.
From the 12th Doctor there's a new character called Ark who will be coming. I've got Ark. Hang on,
yeah, you do.
That's Ark. I love non-human allies to put in the game. It's awesome. It makes it feel very different.
Well, I think ever since Saber, people have been starting to say that they wish it would happen in the TV show too. So.
So he's awesome, and then this is Clara's new snow outfit from, I think he said the first issue of the 12th Doctor.
First or the second issue, yeah.
Okay.
So that'll be coming.
So we'll have new costumes, and we'll have new characters, and new Titan-based enemies to play against. What's next? Engines of War. Yeah, those amazing guys who did the Engines of War book.
They can't say enough nice things about George Mann, the author, and Paul, the artist. Paul Hanley.
Yeah, they're amazing.
And George is actually going to be helping us with the storyline for inserting Cinder into the game. Which
as part of the Big on the Inside story, is sort of the introduction and the ending, and then the middle, the big chunk of the middle is 4 or 5 different Doctors get like a 15-20 level arc each, where they and 1 or 2 companions go off and deal with something. It's a big love letter to the TARDIS, Big on the Inside. And for the War Doctor, what I'd like to do, because he doesn't, really have a big list of allies, have Cinder and the War Doctor have an arc in this story, and George is going to hopefully help co-write the Cinder stuff to make it super authentic and give a little bit more characterization to her outside the books.
And there's more opportunities to show off the War Doctor. We love the War Doctor. I think most of you probably know the War Doctor expert mode version is coming this weekend.
Yeah.
And he's going to have a different ability.
He actually has an ability that nobody else has, which I didn't realize we could do. And then one of the other designers pointed out. So he can overpower, charge up 2 different colors on the same turn. Because normally we only have 1, but we actually had a variable in there that we could change. So he's going to be very powerful, and he hasn't reset the board. I think he's going to be a really great addition to the higher end game. He's a very solid Doctor to have on a lot of teams, given the abilities he has. So as part of that, this is the latest art we had permission to show today, right? We did get permission, right?
Yes. Okay, yes, and this is based on Athena, who's a follower of ours on Twitter, who's very prolific on Twitter.
Maybe she's here.
I know she might be. Athena, are you in the channel?
She might be like screaming right now, freaking out in anger. So during the Advent calendar, I don't want to just release Cinder into the game, and she's going to have at least one other costume coming as well. I want to design some levels around her and the Doctor, and hopefully get George Mann to write some dialogue to give her a bit of placement in the world, a little bit of backstory in these levels. Which is the other good thing about putting levels in and not just handing out codes, is we can do things like this. We can add new dialogue or setting or whatever we want to give it a bit of sort of foundation in the world. So we're super excited about Cinder and as well as how we can see her in Bigger on the Inside.
Absolutely, yeah.
And now
Bigger on the Inside.
So we should probably talk about our love of video.
The preamble and why we're doing this. It's very different for us.
And I don't want anyone freaking out, but this takes away from other story stuff. This is something that Susan and I have been pushing hard on our own in our spare time, trying to get this up and running, because we could have just kept the game going without doing this massive story on the side, but we really wanted to, and it came out in a really interesting way. I'm a lifelong gamer. I started gaming, in the very early 80s. I love old school 8 and 16-bit graphics. I think there's just this timeless beauty to them. And one day, Susan and I we sat around and we just found some of this guy's art.
He'd created pretty much all of Doctor Who.
He had created the entirety of 4 different Doctors, every single character who'd ever been on stream for those Doctors, including like minor incidental characters, he'd created in these beautiful pixelated images.
People are questioning that we actually have spare time.
And so he did, the 4th Doctor, and every enemy and every ally of the 4th Doctor, in these beautiful montages of pixelated art. And I just fell in love with it, and I thought, wouldn't it be awesome to have some part of Doctor Who, some part of Legacy, even if it was just a level in the fan area, which was cool and pixelated. You could go in there and get a few costumes, and they would be heavily pixelated, so it would feel really old school and retro, and a little bit different. So I contacted the artist, and we started talking. And then we started talking to the BBC about whether this is something we could do, because adding a new art style to the game is a major affair. And Susan has been. Do you want to talk about how much work you put into this over the last few months?
It's been a tremendous amount of work, honestly, but worth it. The artist who created the stuff has been brilliant to work with, and his partner. And so this has been a few months now in the coming. And,
a lot of work.
We as is typically the case with our dealings with the BBC, Peter got it immediately. I mean, Peter's been making games as long as we have.
Oh yeah.
So we're all sort of
Peter understood
old school motivated.
Straight away.
And so he was excited about it. The BBC was excited about it. We were excited about it. And then it was just about, okay, how do we make this happen?
And it's very, very close. Really close. We should know really soon. That's why we're sort of talking more about it now. We're close enough that we feel very confident that this is all going to be okay and it's going to work.
Well, and I think that this is kind of what's one of the things that excites me and I think Lee most about this project is that we've created this game in such a fashion that we can do quirky things like this. The Cybermen gems were something that Lee designed himself and was like, why not? They look really cool. And it's the same sort of thing like this. We love pixelated, retro, 8-bitty stuff. And so when the opportunity came up, why the heck not? It's something new and alongside the core of what the Legacy experience is, but that's constantly evolving as we're adding the War Doctor stuff, as we're adding ultimately Big Finish, as we're adding the Titan comics and stuff. There's it's a huge world. I think that it's starting to encompass the game.
It's super exciting, and we can't wait.
You haven't shown the art.
I'll bet you in a second.
Okay.
Okay. But one thing that was really important was we didn't want to just change an art style and not give it a reason for existing. There had to be an explanation for this. So the first thing that I had to do was write this story explaining why suddenly everyone's pixelated, and we're gonna hand draw all new backgrounds, all in really cool pixelated. We're gonna dive into some super classic stuff. We're doing the Gunmen, and we're doing 10th Planet. We're doing really diving into specific Doctors and their greatest hits, and doing some really cool pixelated stuff with them. So
this isn't just like a rehash of the game with different art.
No, the story. All this is explained by the story. It's really a love letter to the TARDIS. When I started explaining,
someone said it was them who suggested that the Pixel Who guys get in touch with us.
Yeah, see.
There you go.
Every day our community amazes us yet again. So we're now talking about why we're doing it. Oh, the story.
Yeah.
The story. So it's all explained the story, and so I wrote this big story, and it's the first story that we're doing with all 12 Doctors in it. Which is a huge milestone for us, that we can write a story that just everyone will be there, and we can do this cool story all set in the TARDIS, going into the history of the TARDIS, all the cool rooms you might have seen over the last 50 years, talking about the functionality, getting very geeky, and in the middle of this, having the Doctors split up and a virus ravaging through the TARDIS, trying to kill the Doctors and their allies. So I'm super excited about it. It's amazing. I've had so much fun writing it and setting the levels up, and really playing with the concept of what a level is in the game. And we should, after all that preamble, we probably should.
Yes.
We are. I should probably get rid of
the other stuff.
See, I can do this on the fly. So I think the art is just so charming. Wait till you see it in the game with pixelated gems and pixelated backgrounds and all your guys pixelated.
So you've been thinking about
in their pixelated costumes.
Getting the music sampled down too, right?
Yeah, we got to hopefully sample the music down and make it feel really cool and quirky, and it just leads into it.
So I hope you guys like it.
The art starts on
a different move that we're making.
The art style starts off in our standard style, and it slowly sort of becomes pixelated and corrupted, and then you go on this crazy wild journey through the TARDIS.
I think the same people are excited by it.
Are they?
Lots of, oh wow, it's awesome, this is really cool.
So over the next few months, we'll have new story beats for the main story, a few in the next, 7 new levels in the next few weeks, and then the story kicking off in January. We're going to have Bigger on the Inside running alongside that, and then we have a big push through December with all this cool stuff, lots of fun things we want to get in December.
Shoot, I'm crying. Someone says.
Do we want to try to get Kylie in, don't we, in December?
We are going to try to get Kylie Minogue in during the Advent calendar.
Like, we're really making a list of like what cool stuff could release in December. Now we're not just cranking on season 8 stuff. We can sit back a little bit. What can we do? What will people love? So we want to just fill up December with fun stuff. So every day it's a pleasure to jump in and play something and get a goodie from us.
Well, 95% of the comments are awesome. There are other people who hate pixelated.
That's the thing.
There will always be. That's cool.
That's the thing with everything. Yeah. Hopefully you'll stay for the gameplay, even if you don't quite like.
And yes, you will get costumes of the pixelated characters.
Yes. So the Bigger on the Inside isn't introducing new characters. We're going to add a massive roster of pixelated characters for dozens and dozens and dozens of characters in this game. So you'll be able to put together lots and lots of pixelated teams. Hopefully multiple pixelated costumes for some of the doctors, and really dive into that. And every costume will be 100% drop, is the plan as well, which is fun, cool. Yeah. So a different way to sort of approach a stack of levels instead of I'm going to play them loads of times random. I'm just going to play through and get this cool subset of fun things I can use through my game.
Exactly.
Phew.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff we have to do in the next while.
Not to mention the fact that we're working on actually bringing the 4th Doctor and the 12th Doctor into the core story.
Well, that's in the storyline. Yeah, in the storyline over the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Which
will wrap that up and launch us off towards taking down the Master in the first half of next year. And then hopefully if the game is still running, if we're still doing things you guys love and it still pays the bills, we will be here and we will be building the next big arc starting next summer, and we'll be going alongside the next season of the game hopefully. So we have a lot of stuff coming.
People are asking me about a code. No code. We're going to make it up next week.
Susan can explain this. I can't.
I'm just having an issue with my my code creator. We'll make it up next week. We'll do a really
we can't make codes.
I can't.
We found out like 2 hours ago, and we've been trying to fix it. We can't make codes.
And it's too late night in Taiwan.
It's like 2 a.m. in Taiwan or something.
Sorry.
We wanted to. We were going to do one every 20 minutes. And I had a whole page set up.
We did a lot of giveaways last week at Halloween.
But we'll make it next week.
Bad, but yeah,
we'll make it up next week. We'll do a couple of codes next week.
Yes. And if we had adipose, we could totally do Addy Gold giveaways and stuff, but all of that is done on Addy's side.
So today is just information. You have to be here for information.
It's just a monologue today.
It is.
It's one glorious
duologue.
monologue.
Is that a thing?
Duologue. Some more questions. Is Bigger on the Inside going to be separate from Doctor Who Legacy?
Bigger on the Inside will be in the specials area and will come in 4 chapters. So if you don't want to be anywhere near it, it'll be out of the way. You never have to see it. But if you want to go play it, it'll be in there. And the plan right now is the first chapter will be free, and there'll be a small time crystal cost for the other ones. Very easily covered by the weekly ones you get with the game.
Yeah.
So start saving a few. But the upside will be it'll be a small time crystal cost, but you're guaranteed all these costumes. So we want to see how that works, whether that value proposition works in a different way or works at all.
Someone wants to know if the Advent levels are going to come in different difficulty levels.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about, the Advent levels. So I think there should be some stuff that's a bit harder to get, and I'd like to leave it running for a couple of months so you can actually, if something appears on the 20th, you're not pushing to level up over 10 days. So there'll be we'll leave it for a while. But I would like, I think the minimum level to get stuff in there will probably be at the end of the first season in the game. You have to be at least in the game and have made a little bit of headway, because you can do that in a few hours. We probably won't go up to expert, and probably not hard, but I'll probably put a mix of levels in, but mainly at the low end so everyone can get them. Yeah, any more?
Someone wants to know about a collectible Tiny Rebel Bear toy.
That would be awesome. I would love to do a Tiny Rebel.
T-shirts are in the works. I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago that we were definitely going to be doing Doctor Who Legacy T-shirts. Can we have a pixelated Doctor Who Legacy T-shirt? Absolutely.
That's a great idea.
For sure.
We should totally do that. Yeah, I'm really excited. I've seen some mock-ups of the pixelated stuff, and it's really good. It looks really amazing, and I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's trying to explain why the Roundel gems look really beautiful and clean and pretty, and so different from the other gems in the game.
Yeah.
So we have an expert level coming this weekend.
Yes.
You know the one we played the other day?
Mm-hmm.
One called Confusion?
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun.
Yeah.
It requires a very specific. It's like 4 expert characters you have to have. And I don't want to spoil it. I'll just go there and go and have fun with it. It's an expert level coming. It's a bit different from everything else we've done. It's hella hard. Is that a term?
Yeah.
Is that what all the kids are saying? Hella hard. And you need a bunch of expert vocab. It's really quite bleeding edge. So I'm looking at you, Arthur, and about 3 other ones out there. But there's fun stuff coming. Plus, the 2 episode levels both in easy, medium, and hard.
Question from Sir Argent. It didn't apply to Doctor Who Legacy, thank you. But did we